read session today, or else you can write down your questions in the chat box, and separately we can take up all the questions towards the Q&A session that we'll have in the end. Okay. Manda, I guess there's some problem with the host settings. Oh, you are the host? I thought somebody else was. Yeah, you have resolved that problem, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, fine. So, yeah, let me begin. So, everybody is excited? I want a quick yes and excitement to the fullest. Then only I'm going to resume the classes. The demonstration for the same. Yeah, perfect. Everybody has had their evening nap. They must be enjoying their evening tea along with my session. I assume so. Yes? Great. If not, grab something to munch on or drink and enjoy the session. And yeah, to tell you something about the surprise which Manda has for us. It will be like, as this is the Valentine's week, so Manda will be has something special in store for all of you here. So stay tuned till the end of this session. Okay. So let's start. But before starting the demonstration, I would quickly like to cover few of the theoretical part of the cookies and brownies both. But before that, quickly, I am sharing my screen. I want all of you to quickly take the screenshot of the cookies for now. And as we do the brownies, I'll share the brownies one also. Quickly take the screenshot, and once you are done, write down a done in the chat box, please. Yeah, here it is. We are doing a lemon hot cookies today. Yes. It's hot and spicy because it has some chili flakes to it. Done. I assume that everybody has already taken the screenshot. I stop the share now. And Manda, is my overhead camera fine? Could you spotlight it for everyone here, please?
Yes, ma'am. Just a moment.
Yes, you can remove the other camera. Yeah.
Okay,
perfect. Done. Thank you for that. Okay. So before we'll be doing a lemon hot cookie, and we'll be doing a basic brownie with some chocolate chips or chocolate chunks in it. So before that, let me introduce you to the basics of the history of, maybe a quick history of the cookies and the brownies. So basically, what is a cookie? Cookie is similar to a biscuit that we have at homes, but yeah, biscuits are crunchier. Cookies can be a more chewier version of the same. Okay, so basically the word cookie has come from a Dutch word koekje, which means a little cake. Why it is named a little cake? It resembles a cake-like thing, which is mess-free, and it is very travel-friendly kind of thing. So that word came up with, and cookie was first developed in 7th century AD in Persia, which is now Iran. Okay. That time when the sugar came into picture, sugarcane harvesting was popular, sugar came into picture, then this particular cookie was developed. Shilvi ma'am, just a moment, people.
Yeah. So ma'am, I'll be sharing the recipe in the group as well. Don't worry.
Okay. And you can do it in the chat also if you could quickly take the screenshot, Manda, for me, and help people, those who are joining late. I'm quickly doing it again. Yes. Hope people are done with it. Yeah, thank you. So we were talking about cookies. So it was developed in Persia, which is now Iran, and then it traveled to Europe, then America, and cookie became popular. When sugar became popular, with that, cookie also became popular. So there are various types of cookies. We have drop cookies, we have rolled cookies, we have fried cookies, various version of cookies. But these days, baked cookies are mostly popular. Okay. Coming to brownies thing. Brownies basically, as the name suggests, it resembles a brown little confection, a square shaped or a flat or a small confection, which is sweet in taste. Okay. It is another mess-free dessert or a confection, you can call it. Basically, when you have a cake, your hands become dirty and things. Okay. With brownies, it can be little mess-free, and it is very small. It is travel friendly also. So brownies, if you talk about the history of brownies, the first type of brownie was an apricot glaze and a walnut brownie, which was developed in 19th century. There was a person named Bertha Palmer. They had a hotel named Palmer Hotel. It is still there. Okay. Bertha Palmer was a socialist. She had called few of her guests to her hotel. She and her husband had a hotel named Palmer Hotel. They have called few guests to their hotel for some lunch and dinner. So she gave the requirements to the chef at the hotel. She wanted a mess-free dessert, which was a baked confection kind of thing, which the people can have easily without messing up their hands. So their chef at the Palmer Hotel came up with the idea of a small baked confection, which was the brownie. And the first version of brownie which was made, he had used some walnuts to top it, and he had used some apricot glaze to just do it a kind of icing on top. So this was the very first type of brownie which was made. Nowadays, like brownies can be basically of two types. Brownies, as you call, with cocoa powder will be brown in color, will be called a brownie. And a type of brownie without the cocoa powder can be called a blondie, which is just flour and a few of the baking soda or vanilla kind of agents. Okay. So basically, you can divide a brownie and a blondie with cocoa powder, without cocoa powder. Okay. Now, to be very precise, types of brownies can be of three types. The first is the fudgy brownie or the gooey brownie. The second brownie will be a chewy brownie, and the third will be a cakey brownie. Now, with the name fudgy, what do you get in mind? It will be more gooey, it will be more soft, more melt in the mouth. So, if you want to achieve a fudgy brownie, you would be having include more and more fat. By fat, I mean more butter and chocolate to your recipe. Less flour, more butter and more chocolate will give you a fudgy and a gooey brownie. The second type of brownie is the chewy brownie. Chewy brownie will be between a cakey and a fudgy brownie. It will be moderate amount of fat and moderate amount of flour. Now coming to cakey brownie is different because it has a texture similar to a dry cake. It will have less fat compared to the flour. Flour will be more in this case, and we may have leavening agents to it also. Okay. So roughly we have covered the theoretical part of the brownie and cookie. So we'll start off with the lemon hot cookies. I have some, all of you check the screenshot. It says the recipe calls for some all-purpose flour, जो आपके घर का मैदा होता है. I have some butter, which is the cold butter I have used. I have some icing sugar to it. If you don't have icing sugar, you can include powdered sugar, जो घर की पिसी हुई चीनी होती है, वो भी आप इसमें include कर सकते हो. Okay. Now, the idea here is how do we proceed for this particular cookie recipe? We are going to just play with the ingredients. Why I'm saying this, you need to play. Yeah, ma'am, you can try out with wheat flour. I haven't tried the recipe with wheat flour, but yeah, you can give it a try. Yeah, I'm coming to it, ma'am. The recipe says cold butter. The particular method that we are using here to make a cookie is sanding method. So for a sanding method to be done, you are ideally supposed to take a cold butter chunk, cubed butter. Why I'm saying this? Sanding method generally involves rubbing of the butter and flour together till we achieve a breadcrumb or a sand consistency of the same. Now, if you are rubbing the chunk of cold butter with your flour, each and every flour will be coated with the right amount of butter. Now, this will give you a nice, soft at the same time a crisp cookie, crisp and soft cookie at the same time. So we are following a sanding method for this particular cookie that we are doing today. We are going to gently rub the butter and flour together till the butter is completely mixed in the flour. You don't have to press the butter like this. You generally have to play with the flour here. Gradually, the butter will tend to coat each and every flour. The idea is coating the butter, but gradually. Okay. So I'm just trying to play with the flour and butter here. It will take some time. For all those who have very warm hands, sweaty hands, they can dip your hands in some bowl of cold water and then you can proceed in the recipe, because very warm hands tend to the butter will melt very quickly, which we don't want. Okay. Yeah, ma'am, you can try out with whole wheat also if you want. Ragi, whole wheat, multigrain. Yeah. You can give it a try. I have only few chunks of butter left. I'm continuing to do the same till all those who have joined late. Do not worry. We will. Somebody please post it. Post the screenshot in the chat, please, if you could. Otherwise, I am going to again share the screenshot for you guys. Don't worry. Ma'am, no, this particular sanding method requires the use of hand, or the other way out is you can do it in the food processor. The same thing can be done in the food processor. Okay. Now, I feel that it is nicely mixed. Yes. Now, our recipe calls for some lime juice. This is the lemon juice or lime juice you have. I'm going to add this directly to it. Okay. Now, the recipe calls for some chili juice or chili flakes. I am using chili flakes because I like the bite which comes to the mouth. And for people, those who want to go with chili juice, what you do, you put some spoon of water with some 2 or 3 chilies in the mortar and pestle, pisoing it nicely so that you get a thicker version of the chili. If you can add more water if you want a liquidy version, dilute this thick paste with water. Use that particular juice in this particular recipe. That way you can get chili juice. Now, I have put the lemon juice and the chili flakes. Now, you don't need to knead it further. You will just have to bring the dough together like this till everything is combined and it becomes a ball kind of thing. You just have to put everything together. Nothing technical, nothing fancy, and don't try to knead it. Otherwise, you will tend to develop gluten to the flour. Yes, ma'am, मैंने chili flakes use किया है because I like the bite of chili flakes जो हर bite में आता है. If you want a uniform hot taste and a spicy taste, आप chili juice भी add कर सकते हो. Yes, ma'am, you have to preheat the oven, but before that, I will tell you, we need to rest our cookies. So I'm not talking about the preheating part. We will come to it, don't worry. Now, our dough has come together like a ball. Now, I have some more dough which was left. I will combine it together. Nice. Now, I have some cling wrap here, cling wrap roll which I have. Yes, I tear some out of it and I spread it like this on the workstation. Okay, done. Now, I will bring the ball of cookies which I have here. Make sure you don't leave anything behind in the bowl. It's here. I put it together. Now, I am just wrapping the cling film like this. Now, I'm just tying it like a toffee. You do it for a toffee. Okay. फिल्म ना हो तो मैम आप डायरेक्टली भी इसके छोटे छोटे बॉल्स बना के प्रेस करके भी बेक कर सकते हो. Now, I am doing a rectangle shape for it. I will dab it against the table. And roughly it will form a rectangle shape. I'll keep it in the refrigerator. Always make sure, make a note that you should ideally always rest your cookie, chill it in the refrigerator, then go ahead and bake your cookies. Always. Why I'm saying this? Because if you tend to, the butter currently is very soft. Now, this butter which is very soft and has lost its temperature and it is not stiff anymore, when this goes in the oven, the butter will tend to melt very quickly and your quickie will spread too fast, which means the right texture of your cookies will be lost and you would get a flatter cookie in that case. So it is always ideal to rest and chill all of your cookie doughs, and even it remains the same for brownies also. The same reason goes with brownie. Always chill and rest your brownie batters and cookie doughs. Always. Make a note, everybody. Now, it is ready. I'm going to keep this in the refrigerator. Meanwhile, we can quickly prep up our brownie batter. This will rest in the refrigerator and I will do what people were saying, the most important part, that is preheating my oven. I will preheat my oven at a temperature of 160 to 170. Any temperature would be fine. All the convection oven people can do it at 180 also. OTG people, 170, 160 is fine. Okay. So I'll be preheating for a time of 15 minutes because I prefer it for for 5 minutes more because I want to play safe with the temperatures and timings. So I do it for more than 10 minutes, that is 15 minutes. So I'll quickly preheat. I'll keep this in the refrigerator and will join you guys. Okay.
And also, guys, there is no such group separately created for you people. So in the BitClass app, there is a community group. When you had registered for this workshop, there is already a group for that. So I will be sharing the screenshot there. And also Jyoti ma'am has already shared the, the list and the ingredients. And thank you so much, Jyoti ma'am. It is great. So you can have a note of it as well.
Yeah, people, I'm back. So we'll start with the brownies recipe. Now, the brownie recipe calls for some. Ma'am ne time nahi bataya. Ma'am, I'm doing a very small batch. This particular batch will roughly take a time of 5 to 7 minutes. For your case, if you are doing the exact batch that I've shared, it will roughly take 9 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes of time. Okay. Now, we have kept it in the refrigerator for chilling. We have not yet kept it in the oven to bake. Okay. Now, the brownie recipe calls for some dry ingredient, which is the all-purpose flour, ghar ka maida, some sugar, powdered sugar. I will be sharing the recipe for the brownies now. Manda, please help me out with the screenshot, please.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes, I assume people have done. Yeah, perfect. Now, so this is some powdered sugar. There is some all-purpose flour, maida. I personally like to use some coffee powder also along with cocoa powder. It is some coffee powder. For people, those who want to use baking powder, they can go ahead use the same, but the quantity is very small. So if you want, you can skip it also. The idea of adding baking powder here is just because we are not adding any eggs here, we want a nice rice, a little rice to our brownies. Okay. For that, I have added some baking powder. If you want, you can skip it. It's completely up to you. Okay. Komal ma'am, Manda will be sharing the recipe in the chat.
And
Don't
yes,
worry.
not in this chat. I would be sharing in the end of this class. And also, ma'am, I think that it would be better that in the end of this class, if we could just show the screen once more from your side, I believe that would be great as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, please
Certainly.
stay till the end and currently concentrate.
It's
on
okay,
the
people.
class.
I'll be sharing it towards the end. Don't worry. We are going, our brownie batter will be very quickly done. So we are going to have an ample time for Q&A and all these discussions. Don't worry at all. Okay. Now, I told you I have some milk here. It is the normal full cream milk which I use. You can use any milk of your choice. I have added some vanilla also to it. And I have a bowl where I have some chocolate, some butter, and what I prefer, I like to melt my sugar with my chocolate and butter. The reason for this is this helps you to, when the sugar is warmed with the chocolate and butter, it helps you to get a nice top, which we need for our brownies. So, according to me, I go with this arrangement. You can add the sugar. I have taken some powdered sugar. If you want, you can add the sugar to the dry ingredient also. Okay. Now, I'm going to melt this in the microwave for 30 seconds, for 1 minute maybe. You can do the same on the double boiler also. Okay. I'll quickly join you guys after melting this up. I'm back, people. So, yes, regarding the recipe, if you have checked the screenshot, then the flour is almost minus 3 tablespoons. If you want a cakey brownie, then you can skip that 3 tablespoons. Currently, we are doing a fudgy brownie. So it is minus 3 tablespoons of flour. If you want a cakier version of the brownie, you can go ahead, discard that additional 3 tablespoons. You can add that 3 tablespoons of flour. Okay. Now, I have mixed together. Kalpana ma'am, what do you want me to repeat? The recipe calls for some flour minus half cup of flour minus 3 tablespoons of flour. Currently, we are doing a fudgy brownie, so I am following the same. But if you want a cakier version of the brownie, you need to add more flour. Means you need to skip the minus 3 tablespoons of flour. Okay. Now, this is what we have got. The sugar, the butter and the chocolate is melted. I am using a Van Houten chocolate here. And I have used a Van Houten medium intensity cocoa powder also. If you want, you can go ahead use any other if you want. Now, I'm going to add this to my dry mix. Okay. More the sugar to your brownie recipe, more is the nice, the sides will turn out to be crispier and the top will be nice and crisp. That is the way we play with textures and ingredients. We manipulate the ingredients a bit, that texture of the brownie can change. Now, I'm going to give it a good mix. I can add in the milk also. Just 1 bowl recipe this is. Now, I have some chocolate here. Okay. I can add in some chunks of chocolate which I have. I can add it to the brownie. Now, I have got a loaf tin which is almost 3.5 inches broad and almost 9 inches long. It is a loaf tin. I like to bake it in a loaf tin because the size is like I have to cut only one ways. So I like to bake it in that. I am getting this. Sorry, people, I forgot my spatula in the kitchen. I'll get it.
And also, guys, one thing, as it's a live workshop, so the recordings for the workshop isn't provided to you. So people who are asking in the chat box, so guys, it's a no. But there is also one more solution to it, which I'll be telling in the end of this, workshop.
I've got the cookie dough also. I've got the tray for it. The nicely you mix the chocolate, butter and sugar together, the nice top you will get for a brownie. That step is important. I suggest go ahead and do it on a double boiler if you are starting, if you are just beginning to bake your brownies and you are very new to this total learning. Do it on a double boiler and nicely mix using a whisk. So in goes. You can bake it in a tray, you can bake it in a loaf tin, you can bake it in a cupcake mold. Now, this particular brownie, if you want to make a cake out of it, then you need to increase the flour a bit you will get a cake kind of arrangement. Now I have used a parchment paper at the base. Now the brownie batter is ready. I will chill this for, ideally you should chill your brownie batters for at least 1 hour or more than that. I personally, for my like commercial baking, I make my brownie batters well in advance. I let it sit in the refrigerator overnight and the next day I bake it. The reason for it is I feel that the flavor gets 2x. It has more intense flavor, which is very good. So always prepare your brownie batters way in advance and then go ahead, bake it. Now, I've got a slab here, a rectangular slab. Now, I want to discard the edges for now. Okay. If you don't want this way, you can easily make round balls and bake it straight away. I like to cut it into equal sizes. Okay. You can go with your thickness if you want. Whatever thickness you like is fine. Chilling will help you get nice cuts also. But the biggest reason I told you, the spreading of the butter will reduce, which will lead to a nice textured cookie, which you want. Parchment paper, I like to reuse these parchment papers. I have made this much thickness slices. See. Brownies also you can bake at 160, but ideally 170 is fine. No. These sides I will discard. Okay. Now, a tray of brownie and this cookie. These both will go in the oven. Brownies will somewhat take around 15-17 minutes. And the cookies, as I'm doing a very small batch, it will somewhat take 7 minutes, only 5 to 7 minutes. Now, I will come back and tell you what you need to check, how you need to see if your brownies and cookies are done. Okay? And we'll start with the Q&A session. Yes, people, I'll be sharing the brownie ingredient list for you guys now. All of you, those who have missed, quickly take the screenshot. Once done, please reply in the chat box, please. Yes. Perfect. I will spotlight the other camera for now. Yes. So we were talking about, we wanted to discuss how do you check for your cookies and brownies. So coming to the cookies part, your cookies will be done time I have told you, but if you're doing a smaller batch or you are doing a very thinner batch, it depends. you should have a technical knowledge of how do you check for a cookie. When you see the sides of the cookies browning, it means they are done. The sides have started to turn out brown. You are almost there. You can take it out, let it sit in on the tray, and after that, once it has settled and almost stiff and has got the shape in the tray, you can take it out and leave it on the wire rack for completely cooling. After it has completely cooled, you store it in a nice airtight box after it has completely cooled. Make sure, don't be in a hurry. Make sure it is completely cooled. Then only store it in the airtight box. Okay? And the brownies part. You need to use a skewer or a toothpick. If you insert the skewer or the toothpick in the brownie batter inside the oven, if it is coming with very few crumbs or little bit more crumbs also, then it is perfectly fine. You can turn off the oven, you can take out the brownies, let it sit in the tray, in the particular mold for some time. Or if you want, if it is little warm, you can keep it in the refrigerator. That will ensure, if you directly take it out of the oven and after 5 minutes you put it in the refrigerator, it will be exposed to a cold shock. What is cold shock here? You do for your noodles and pasta at home while you're cooking. You blanch your noodles and pasta, then you expose it to cold water. It ensures that the brownies cooking will be stopped, because after you take things out of the oven, it ideally continues to be cooking itself from inside. So we have to expose our brownies to a cold shock. How we can achieve it? Once you take it out of the oven, you can directly put it in the refrigerator, or after, let's say, 3-5 minutes, you can put it directly to your refrigerator, because we want to stop the further cooking of the brownies. We want it to be more fudgier and gooey from inside. So we are giving it and exposing it to a cold shock. Okay. And after it has completely, give it a nice time of 2 hours, 3 hours at least in the refrigerator. Once it has set and it has completely settled in the tray, in the tin itself, take it out, take out using the parchment paper, then cut using your serrated knife. Only these knives are perfect. I don't know if you are able to. Serrated knife or sharp big knives can be fine for cutting a brownie nicely. Okay. Now, Manda,
Yes, ma'am.
we can take up the questions, but before that, could you come up with the surprise that you have?
Yes, I can do that. I will be just adding the spotlight. Wait a second. Okay, so guys, before I share you any of the surprise, I was just telling you people initially that learning about cookies and brownies in one workshop, it's really impossible. So that is the reason we in BitClass, we have collaborated with the teacher, and the teacher has come up with a master class. Now, before I explain anything to you, I would like to share my screen and I would like to show you what are the things you guys are going to learn in this master class. Okay, so I believe my screen is visible, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. So, ma'am, if you could just explain, would be great.
Sure. So these are some Nutella brownies that we have planned for our particular masterclass. Next, we move on to the red velvet cheesecake brownies. Yeah, these are some red velvet cheesecake brownies, some stuffed ones that we'll be doing. These are some caramel Oreo brownies that we have done. Next, we move on to we have got a tea cake also for you guys. It is a strawberry cream cheese tea cake, as strawberry is in season. And this is the wide selling, a healthier, not a very healthy version, but yeah, cream cheese is what is people attracted with. Next, these are some traditional chocolate chip cookies. And these are some oats and raisin cookies, to be very precise.
Exactly. And also guys, these are the things you guys are going to learn in this masterclass. And so the Q&A session is still going on, guys, don't worry. But before that, I had to share you a few details. Now I will be sharing my screen and I'm going to explain you about the dates and the timings and what are the things you guys are going to learn in this masterclass. So just allow me a moment. Okay, so guys, is my screen visible to you again?
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, the masterclass is starting from 24th February and it will go until 26th of February. Now from Thursday, Friday and Saturday, the classes are going to be held and the timings are going to be from 2:30 p.m. till 4 o'clock. Right now, supposedly on a particular day, you miss out on a class. So we make sure that you are being provided with the recordings of the classes, and also you're going to be added to a special community group, right, wherein people who have already registered have been added. Right now, coming to the most important part, what are the things you guys are going to learn in this masterclass? So ma'am, if you could just explain them.
Yeah. So this was a very basic class of a type of a cookie and a brownie, but we have a very extensive course planned for you guys ahead. We'll be doing a traditional choco chip cookies. We'll be covering a Nutella cookie cup. You must have heard flat cookies, rolled cookies, everything, but this is something new for you guys. We will be introducing a cookie concept in a cup.